Have you ever wondered how calculators can add, subtract, divide, and how you can make one too? Without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so our first step would be to get the numbers and uh, and obviously we would have to greet the user so that they can use the calculator. So we're gonna write welcome to the calculator. Alright. Now once we've done writing that, we're gonna proceed to write to let the user type whatever they want, like for example, like whatever number they want. I mean, like num1 is equal to float, input, enter a number. Okay. Now once we're done doing that, we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna do the same thing for num2. So num2 is equal to float, input, enter second number. Alright guys, so once we've done doing that, we're gonna proceed to write for our second step, which is to choose the to help the user like choose the operation. Now to ask the user like to choose the operation, we're gonna name our variable operation. Alright guys, so operation is equal to input, choose operation, like we can do press 1 to add, press 2 to subtract, I mean, then press 3 to subtract, and 4 to multiply. Oh, I mean 3 to multiply, my bad. So 3 to multiply and 4 to divide. Now here it looks pretty like it looks too long, like the print statement, so we would just like we're just gonna kind of like gonna put it like this. And obviously guys, if you just like put like a tiny space, if you just like put an enter like just to separate them into two lines, it's not gonna give you an error. Python is like confusing like that, but like you can put as many spaces as you want, and yeah, although it does look confusing. Alright guys, so the error is fixed, so let's continue coding. So yeah, choose an operation. Now our third step would be to perform the calculation. Now to perform the calculation, we need to use the if statement. So the if statement basically lets you decide like condition. So if a condition is true, it runs it, and if it's false, then it doesn't run it. So in this case here, we're gonna use our variable named operation because we literally asked like 5 seconds ago to ask the user to add, subtract, to multiply, or to divide. So if operation is equal to let's just say if operation is equal to 1, I'm gonna write, oh yeah, my bad, I forgot to put the double equal sign. And yeah, just like right now I made a mistake. You should always put like the double equal sign. Here the double equal sign basically means like you're saying that if operation is equal to 1, it's like a comparison. But for example, the equal sign, the normal equal sign is used to assign variable names, just like how I use like num2 is equal to float or operation is equal to input. Like this is used to as we're assigning the operation variable like with the input function. So we could do like x is equal to 5, meaning we are literally putting the value 5 inside of the x. So yeah, so always use the equal for like to assign, and use the double equal for comparisons. So print, yeah, so we're gonna write sum, then yeah, num1 plus num2. Now we're gonna do the same thing for the rest. So if operation is equal to 2, print difference is num1 minus num2. Now here, well, yeah, we're literally just gonna do the same thing for the rest because, num1 plus num2, it's gonna give us the sum, and num1 plus minus num1, 2. So num1 and num2 could be anything. For example, 5 minus 5, which would give us 0. So it's always gonna end up printing the result. So now we're gonna write if operation is equal to 3, then you will print the multiplication, or let's say the product. Yeah, the product is, because do you guys know what you call like the result of a multiplication? You call it a product. So num1 times num2. Now always remember that the star symbol is actually used for multiplications, and in general math the x symbol is used for multiplication, but in Python it's actually different. You would have to use something like called an asterisk, or a star, but I prefer to call it a star. So if operation is equal to 4, print the division, or yeah, the division is now num1 divided by num2. Now here it would give us the result of, whatever number we want to divide. Now once we're done doing that, we're gonna go on to the step 4, which is to handle the division by 0. So for example, if the second number is 0, so we could put if num2 is equal to 0, if num2 is equal to 0, then print 0 division adder. Now, do you guys know why I put 0 division adder? Because in math, you cannot divide any number with a 0. So this is why in Python, if you actually try to divide a number by 0, it would end up printing an adder in the output. But instead of letting it just print the 0 division adder, which looks ugly, we're just gonna replace it with general text like, 0 division adder, or we could replace it with, invalid input, you could say. All right. Now, once we're done doing that, I think, yeah, else, we're also going to replace it with else, print, num1 divide by num2. Now, Now, this condition would actually be useful. For example, if you actually do like is equal to 0, if, for example, if you do 5 divided by 0, it will replace it with invalid input. But if you actually end up putting like a correct number, the correct number, then it would end up printing num1 divided by num2. All right, guys. And always remember, you have to fix the indentation for everything. Now, indentation basically means in the tab. So you have to fix it for everything. I think, yeah, there. Wait a minute, I'm just trying to fix the indentation here. All right, now I think the code should work. So now let's try to run the code. And once we run the code, it's gonna ask us to enter a number. So we could enter whatever we want, and as you can see, it says welcome to the calculator, enter a number. So we're gonna enter 5. Enter second number, we could enter 10. Now it's gonna ask us to choose an operation, like press 1 to add, press 2 to subtract, 3 to multiply, or 4 to divide. Now we can choose to add. So let's press 1, and it's gonna end up printing the result, which is sum 15.0. And wait a minute. If num2 is equal to 0, oh yeah, I forgot. So wait, if elif. Yeah, so here I think I would have to remove the, the extra else in here because I actually made a mistake where, it ended up printing the result of 5 plus 10, which is 15. 5, 10, 1, which is 15, which is correct. But at the end, it ended up printing 0 0.5. Now, to fix this issue, we would just have to like remove this extra else statement. So now once we run the code, again, let's clear the terminal. Let's run the code again. And now let's try a zero division error, meaning the second number would be like 0, 5, 0, and then we would choose to divide. And okay, guys, so I know the error now. So elif operation is equal to 4. So now I actually have to put this in here. So I'll put it here if num2 is equal to 0. Yeah, so if num2 is equal to 0, print, let me just indent this, invalid input. Now else, print division is num1 divided by num2. Now before it gave me a traceback because Python always runs code step by step. And instead of putting like the zero division code fix in the beginning, I actually ended up putting it at the end. And by the time it would reach till the end, it would not catch the error and would actually end up giving the zero division error. So to fix this, you just have to put the zero division code error fix in the beginning, like literally at the elif operation is equal to 4. Now once you do that, the code should work. So let's run the code again. Welcome to the calculator, enter number 5, 10, and then we choose to divide. And as you can see, it ended up dividing the number with 0 0.5 right now. But let's do it again. 5, 0, 4, and as you can see, it ended up printing invalid input because we literally put the zero division code error fix, like the fix code at the beginning. That's why. And yeah, guys, that was it for today's tutorial. So I hope you liked this first project of Python project that we made together. So please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, guys, have a nice day. Bye.